Hi everyone, Velvet here, and I have some stories for you today. But before we get started, can you please do me a huge favor and like, comment, and subscribe? It'll really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Let's get started. And our first one comes from Luna May 2000. Am I the beehole for feeling destroyed my mother stole and damaged my wedding dress? I was a 16-year-old female, and my parents kicked me out. I grabbed a few bags and left to live with my best friend, a 16-year-old male, and his parents at the time. Previously to being kicked out, I was given my grandmother's wedding dress, which I wanted to wear as my own one someday. Once I was kicked out, my mother and my sister raided my room for what they wanted before I came back to collect the rest of my things. I did notice this at the time, but didn't have the mental energy to fight about it. The wedding dress was one of those items taken from me in 2021. She used the excuse that the people I was staying with left their house unlocked and she didn't want it stolen or damaged. So, she was going to get it cleaned and boxed, and she stated, "You shouldn't have it, it's a family heirloom." Today I got it back. After 2 years of fighting my mother, the threat of police and courts caused her to finally fold, as she doesn't want to have any legal trouble. As it would make her perfect image crumble in front of her, I had to go to my grandmother to get the recording of her saying it was mine. Keep in mind, my grandmother is 92 and has a bad memory, yet she remembered that 2 years ago she gave it to me and remembers the entire day in detail. So, anyway, after all of that, which I've left so much out, I opened the box and it was ruined. There is thousands of dollars worth of damage. She handed me the box with the dress after going on a rant about how she spoke to Grandma, and anyone in the family who wants to use it should be allowed, as that's what Grandma gave it to me for, was to be its keeper and to lend it out. When wanted. False. In the recording, I asked, "What did you do with your wedding dress? It's okay if you don't remember." She says, "What do you mean? I gave it to you." I told my grandmother I'll be wearing this dress as my wedding dress, and she states, "I wish to see it on you again one day," as she most likely won't live to see the day I'm married. Nowhere in the conversation does she mention the fact that I must lend it out to others. In fact, she affirms it's mine and mine alone. I have told my sister of after I've worn the dress at my wedding, I might lend it to her. This dress drama started because she wanted to clean and keep the dress from being damaged or stolen, only to steal the dress from me, clean it, and damage it beyond belief. My whole family, including my partner, believe I'm being overdramatic and how angry and betrayed I feel. However, I feel like I have the full right to be angry, as she stole and damaged my dress, and then turned it into some kind of communal wedding dress, after it has been specifically given to me. I called her, and she sounded like she was trying not to laugh, saying, "Well, this is the risk you take when getting an old wedding dress dry cleaned." I believe it's 100% her responsibility to get it fixed, so I will be demanding she gets it repaired at her cost. I'm so tired of being invalidated, but I need to know. Am I the beehole? Hi, OP. You are not the beehole. Your crazy mother is the beehole. I don't... What happened between you two? Has she always just been evil? Because she sounds evil. Laughing at you, trying to hold back laughter after destroying an heirloom like that? Jeez. But I believe you already have the solution to your problem. You've threatened it before. Threatened legal action. She stole your property. She destroyed it. And now she's not trying to make up for it. Take her to court if she's so, worried about people seeing her images or being, going to court like that. Take her to court. Easy fix. Also, about your fiance, I would think about it. I'm not saying break it off or anything like that, because that might be a little too dramatic, but it's weird that he doesn't have your back, because this is obviously, something that's simple to understand. They destroyed something, and she did it out of evil like that, and he's just like, whatever. I would think about that. That's kind of a flag for me. Maybe not for you. I don't know. Oh yeah, looking down the comments, we got Bon M42, and they say the normal stuff, take him to court and all that stuff. But they also say, also since she cares so much about her parents, I would take a pic of the dress and blast her on social media. She sounds like a bully. The only way to deal with a bully is to show them you will not be bullied, and they will also face the consequences when they do. I think that's a good idea, especially if she cares so much about her image. I mean, might as well tarnish that, right? Put the dress out there and explain the whole story to everybody. See what happens. And our next one comes from Throwaway Red Tattoo. Am I the beehole for demanding my roommate remove her tattoo? I'm still somewhat new to Reddit, but using a throwaway because I have mutual friends with my roommate who follow my personal account. For context, I, a 20-year-old female, am Chinese adoptee. Before leaving for college, I got a matching tattoo with my mother on my pinky finger. It's basically a red band that's supposed to reference the Chinese myth called the thread of fate. How an invisible red thread connects you to the ones you love. Needless to say, the tattoo has been very significant meaning when it comes to the relationship with my mother. I met my current roommate, Lynn, a 19-year-old female, white, last year through friends. Although we were mostly acquaintances for most of our freshman year, dorming for this year was super frustrating and competitive. But I was relieved when I was able to get a room with someone I knew, like Lynn. All of our friends got together for a housewarming party and we started playing Jackbox, specifically the Faker game. To get to know each other better, one of the questions I called out for was being the Faker was, raise your hand if you have a tattoo. Lynn was confused why everyone said I had a tattoo, as it was not very noticeable, so I showed it to her and briefly explained its meaning. She said how cool and meaningful it was and enjoyed the simplicity of the tattoo. I thought that was the end of it, as the topic wasn't brought up again. This week was our finals, so, admittedly, I was already very stressed. We were cleaning the dorm together to prepare for the break, when I noticed Lynn had gotten an identical tattoo to mine. I was pretty shocked by it, especially since I didn't hear anything from her about getting it. I confronted her about it, and she defended herself by saying it looked cool, and that her mom and her liked the meaning. The fact that she got it with her own mother made me feel even more upset, as my tattoo was very specific to my upbringing, and made it feel less special. I told her she needed to get it removed or I'm moving out. She called me a beehole, and we haven't spoken since. Our friends are split on the issue, with some saying I'm the beehole for trying to control what's on her body, and coming off as rude, and the others saying she overstepped by stealing a meaningful tattoo of mine. So, am I the beehole? Edit. So far from what I've seen, I'm the beehole for suggesting she remove it. I didn't really think of what removing a tattoo would entail, as it was a heat of the moment thing, and I said I wouldn't have cared if she had already had the tattoo, as I'm aware it's a common tattoo. But to copy me, especially when she was aware of the recent health complications of my mother, has had this year made me very upset. I'm probably just going to move out, but it does suck the tension this has made in our friend group. Hi OP, I'm gonna have to agree with what people are saying from your edit. Yeah, you're the beehole. You don't own the whole threads of fate thing. I mean, hell, that exists in other mythologies. Remember Hercules? If you cut the thread of fate, the person ceases to be. It's been told a lot of times. And you don't own a red line on your finger? What are you doing, OP? And like others, you know how insane that it sounds? Remove a tattoo? Removing a tattoo is not easy. That takes money. One, a lot of money, and you're in college, so I doubt your friend or your roommate has money. Multiple times going to do it because tattoos are very deep into the skin, and I forgot how it works. I think the laser burns the tattoo out of the skin, something like that. I never looked into it, but I know it's a laser. And I think you're kind of childish. I'm moving out if you don't remove a tattoo. What are you doing? Why are you making things complicated? Who cares? Who cares? After college, you'll never see her again, and it's like you said, the tattoo's not that noticeable. And again, you don't own the threads of fate thing. Okay, after looking down the comments, I learned that, the tattoo has the OP's name in it, and apparently she copied even the name. Okay, I'm gonna say everybody's the beehole because of that, but, holy hell, that's kind of creepy. That's kind of creepy. Your friend just put, well, not your friend, your roommate, copied your name, her name on, no, your name onto her. Okay, so I changed it a little bit. Everyone's a beehole here. This one's weird. Maybe because I'm not into tattoos. Just ugh. Our next one comes from Alert Question 5016. Am I the beehole for telling my sister her husband is sus? My sister has been having a hard time with her husband. She's the breadwinner and the mom of 2 kids. She works hard all the time, and him, not at all. He was unemployed for 10 years and only after COVID got some call center job. Lately, he's been accusing her of having an affair, which is really taking a toll on her, as it is obviously not true, and she doesn't have the time for this crap. He's been doing this for years. They had kids and the accusations stopped, but they started again a few months ago. She asked me for advice. I suggested that they have the Life 360 app on their phones so he can see where she's at all times, to prove he is talking crap. Not the best suggestion, I know, but when I suggested divorce in the past, the kids. It didn't go down too well, as my sister is a beehole. Anyway, I suggested this app and hopefully buy her some time to think, etc., etc. She told him about it. He immediately shut it down, refused to add the app, and as far as I know, the accusations ceased immediately. I found this suspicious. If you're so convinced she's cheating, wouldn't you like to track her whereabouts? Unless you, yourself, have something to hide, and therefore don't want to be tracked yourself. I told my sister this, and now she's upset with me, blocked me, and told me to F off. Am I the beehole for getting suspicious? Edit. I was in her position once, so felt totally qualified to help her when she asked. I eventually left my ex as it turned out he was the one cheating. Since my sister wants to put up with this, the tracking app was the only viable advice I could give. Staying out of it now. Edit. I love you guys. All of you, even the ones who said I was the beehole. For most of the last week, I've been in such a state of anxiety and depression, thinking I spoke out of turn / out of my butt. While I still wish I was wrong, it's nice to know I don't have to beat myself up anymore. Because this was eating at me, I will stay away from their situation and be there for my sis when she needs me. Love Reddit. You guys picked me up after a week-long stint of anxiety. Hi OP, you are not the beehole. You're 100% right in my opinion. He's cheating. It's such an obvious thing, everybody knows this. When someone's accusing you of doing something, they're probably the one who's doing it. Either he's cheating or is about to cheat. My guess, he's cheating, and he's trying to, take the blame off of him and accuse her of cheating. It sucks your sister doesn't want to see it, but you can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped. I believe you're doing the right thing in this situation. There's not much you can do, but just let it happen. He'll probably trip up and she'll find out. And our next one comes from Educational Bad 9136. Am I the beehole for not defending my wife wanting to attend a funeral with our baby, thus causing her to miss it? My wife and I have a 6-month-old baby girl. Due to postpartum anxiety, which she's being treated for, my wife struggles with leaving our daughter with anyone outside of myself or my mother who lives with us. This hasn't been an issue thus far. And as I said, she's in therapy, so little by little, she's been getting better. Unfortunately, my nephew, who was also 6 months old, passed away a few weeks ago. He had been in poor health since birth. But it's still obviously devastating for the entire family, especially my brother and sister-in-law. They held the services that following weekend. I was in constant contact with my brother, and we were discussing the funeral. He said he knew it was a lot to ask. But, can we please not bring our daughter? I said I completely understood, and didn't even intend to. 1, in my opinion, babies do not belong at funerals. 2, this is a funeral for a baby of a similar age. Why would one want to bring up that reminder? My brother says he knows how my wife is about leaving the baby, so they understand if she can't come. Well, my wife became irritated when she found out that I didn't defend her. She reminded me that she doesn't trust anyone to take care of the baby, outside of me and my mom, who obviously will be at the funeral. So she doesn't want to miss it either, but she also won't agree to leave the baby with anyone else. We have several family members on her side that we are close to, as well as good friends who also have kids. I said even if she just went to the service, and not the gathering afterward, that'd be about an hour. She said no, she can't handle the thought of leaving her with anyone else. I said that's understandable, and that clearly my brother and sister-in-law would rather her not come if that means having a baby at the funeral. She continued to complain. Finally, I said she has 2 choices, and she needs to make one. I don't care which it is. I won't hold it against her either way. 1, allow someone else to watch the baby for an hour. 2, stay home with the baby. She says that I'm not even pretending to be on her side, and I said, I'm not, because this isn't even about us. My wife ended up staying home with the baby. When my mother and I returned later that afternoon, she shut us both out. Eventually, she calmed down, but she made comments here and there, making it clear she feels I should have tried to convince my brother to let the baby come. Am I the beehole? Hi, OP. I'm gonna say you're not the beehole. I'm gonna say nobody's the beehole. Because, like you said, your wife only had two choices. You leave the baby with someone for an hour, or you stay home with the baby. And I'm not even mad at your brother and sister-in-law because, yeah, they lost a child around that age. What do you think's gonna happen when you bring a baby there? Of course it's gonna tear their hearts apart like that. So they're not the beehole either. I don't think anyone's the beehole on this one. It's just a sucky situation from everyone. And I mean, it's your wife needs to understand that it's not about her. Like you said, the world, it's not about you guys. It's about them. And you got to respect that. And our last one comes from Federal Daikon 6664. Am I the beehole for telling my future daughter-in-law not to do it again after saying, I forgive you? My eldest is going to get married soon, and I have a beautiful wedding dress that I've promised to my daughter that she can wear. It basically is a bell gown. I have issues with my future daughter-in-law, nothing major, but she spreads words that I don't say. I'm only 44. At the beginning, I thought she was just misunderstanding what I was saying, or I did say something that made her mad, so I started to only interact with her through text or when people are around. I haven't had to use any of my messages until now. She tried calling me earlier this week, and I told her I was busy and to text it. I'm glad I did. She wanted to use my wedding dress and to do alterations to it. I told her no since I promised my daughter it was hers. The next day, I got a ton of texts from family members about me not being welcoming and telling her that she isn't my kid. I got so many that I just screenshot the text and sent it all to the family. The whole family is upset that she lied to them. I got a FaceTime call with my son and her. My daughter was in the room during this. She gave an apology and I told her not to do it again. Now my son and her are pissed that I didn't say I forgive you. Okay, first things first, you're not the beehole. And that they're mad that you didn't forgive her? I wouldn't forgive her either. She's over there trying to mess up your family and gaslight everyone into thinking you're a bad person towards her. I'm gonna be 100%. If I was dating a girl and she tried to mess with my mom and disrespect my family like that, we'd be done. Your son needs to think about this woman. You saw what she did over a little dress. They're not married yet. He has time to disengage and get out of there. He should. She just showed him what type of person she was. If he stays with her, I'm gonna be straight up. He's an idiot. Because I don't think he's gonna have a good life with this woman if she's able to do things like this over a dress that's not hers. I don't know what to tell you. Your son's a grown man, so there's not much you can do. But if I were you and he goes through with it, I would keep communication to a minimum and keep doing what you're doing and get it all in text so you can prove yourself. Because I don't think this is going to stop, and I don't think this is going to be the last time she's going to try to pull stuff like this. Thank you so much for staying with me to the end of this video. Can you please do what I said in the beginning and like, comment, and subscribe? It will really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Velvet out.